Good day everyone. Today I will discuss polyculture system, isa sa mga most sustainable and efficient approach in aquaculture. So, the phrase one pond multiple species, zero waste ay perfectly nasasummarize siya sa gantong concept ng polyculture kaysa sa mga raising only one species sa isang pond. So, yung farmers is nagkukulture sila ng multiple compatible species together. So, yung bawat species na yun is nagpe-perform ng mga different role within the ecosystem. So, inaalaw nito na yung resources ay magamit more efficiently. So, polyculture is design siya para ma-imitate yung nature, yung natural aquatic environments sa different organism na nag-coexist by inoccupy nila yung mga different ecological niches by applying ng mga iba't ibang principle sa aquaculture. So, yung farmers is kaya nilang ma-increase yung productivity, ma-reduce yung waste, and ma-improve yung environmental sustainability. So, sa presentation na ito, we will explore how polyculture works and its ecological principles and traditional examples from China and modern applications such as integrated multi-trophic aquaculture or IMTA. So, what is polyculture? So, polyculture is isa siyang practice ng pag-raise ng two or more compatible aquatic species sa isang body of water at the same time. Unlike ng monoculture, where yung kung saan yung isang species is nakukulture lang. Unlike sa polycultures, nagko-combine siya ng mga other species na pwedeng i-utilize sa mga different food sources and ma-occupy niya yung different parts of the pond. So, piniprevent ito yung mga direct competition for resources. So, para hindi sila mag-agawan dun sa isang pond. So, for example, yung isang species ay may feed near the surface. Surface feeder siya. And yung another naman is the middle layer. And then yung other naman is mga bottom feeder. So, dahil dito yung mga each species uses different resources ng entire pond, hindi sila pare-parehas kung paano sila kumain. So, hindi sila nagkakaroon ng competition. So, nagkakaroon sila ng yung pond na yun is nagiging productive. Hindi lang sa isang species, kundi sa iba't ibang species. So, easy way dito para maintindihan natin yung polyculture is, imagine, meron tayong isang apartment building. Yung every resident is merong own floor and nagpe-perform silang ng iba't ibang gawain. So, since they are not competing for the same space or food, so they can live together efficiently. So, ganun lang yun sa isda dito sa polyculture. So, yung system na to, inaalaw nito yung farmers na maximize yung production habang mini-maintain yung ecological balance with the culture environment. Next is the niche concept o no competition, only cooperation. So, yung success ng polyculture is nakadepend lang siya sa concept ng ecological niches. So, halimbawa, yung ecological niches is nagre-refers lang siya to the specific role or position na ang isang organism is kailangan lang niya i-occupy yung ecosystem. And then sa polyculture pa naman, each species is pinipili because yung nagpe-perform nga sila ng different ecological function, hindi sila pare-parehas. So, sa surface layer, for example, filter feeders, nagko-consume lang sila ng microscopic organisms such as phytoplankton. So, in the middle layer naman is herbivorous. Halimbawa, herbivorous feed halimbawa dito is aquatic plants and algae. Sa bottom feeder naman is mga scavengers and detritivores. Dito na yung nagko-consume ng mga organic waste, leftover feed and decomposing materials. So, yung arrangement na to is nagki-create siya ng cooperation instead na cooperation. Dahil nga iba-iba yung role nila sa isang pond, hindi sila nagkakaroon ng competition. So, yung resources is that would go otherwise hindi siya magagamit or efficiently utilized lang siya. So, another important benefits is yung nutrient cycling. Yung waste na napoproduce ng isang species kailangan maging pagkain for another species. So, maging resulta nito yung syempre less waste na lang sila na ma-accumulate nila dun sa isang pond. and then yung water quality ma-improve nito, and then yung overall production na pwede nila itong ma-increase. Yung mga natural recycling loop is one of the main reason kung bakit yung polyculture is kino-consider na environmentally friendly. And then next is traditional system Chinese carp polyculture. So one of the oldest and most successful examples of polyculture is yung Chinese carp polyculture system. So ano nga ba yung system nito? Yung system na to is has been practiced more than 1,000 years in China. Halimbawa, yung China's Pearl River Delta, and nananatili pa din siya sa one of the most studied aquaculture methods in the world. So sa system na to, yung several carp ng species are cultured together in the same pond. Yung each species may target siya ng different food source para ma-ensure nila yung efficient resource and utilization. Dahil dito yung fish na occupy niya in different ecological niches, farmers can stock more fish in some single pond without creating excessive competition. So the Chinese carp polyculture is nade-demonstrate niya yung how traditional knowledge and ecological understanding can create yung productive na aquaculture system, hindi bilang competition sa ibang species or system. So sa pag-success ng aquaculture, kailangan may kaalaman tayo rito, and alam natin yung other practices kung paano nga ba ito palaguin or ma-manage. So the slide 5 is the 4 famous Chinese carp. So yung foundation ng Chinese carp polyculture is ginagamit siya one of the 4 major carp species. Bawat species is merong unique feeding behavior. So yung silver carp is a surface pillar feeder. So nagko-consume siya ng phytoplankton, hinihelp nito na makontrol yung excessive algal growth. And yung grass carp naman is nagpipids lang siya primarily sa aquatic vegetation by consuming plants. Syempre matutulungan nito na mapanatili na yung ponds is malinis and ma-prevent yung overgrowth. So yung big head carp naman is na-specialize lang siya sa consuming ng zooplankton, which is yung larger planktonic organism. So, yung feeding habits nito is complements lang dun sa mga silver carp. So, yung common carp fish naman at the bottom of the pond is nagko-consume siya ng detritus and other organic matter habang ini-steering niya yung sediment. So, yun nga yun. Yung para matulungan siya sa recycle nutrients. So, yung mga species na yan is gumagamit sila ng different food sources, and then syempre dun sa isang pond na occupy na nila yun. So hindi sila nagko-compete, na ma-maximize lang nila yung productivity. So yung combination na to is one of the best example ng ecological balance sa aquaculture. Next slide is the integrated dike pond system. Ano nga ba ito? So sa Chinese innovation, integrated dike pond system, yung system na to is nagko-combine siya ng agriculture and aquaculture into a closed loop production cycle. So yung mulberry trees, tinatanim nila around the dike surrounding ng pond, dun sa surrounding ng dike, dun malapit sa ponds nila. So yung leaves na yun is ginagamit nila para ma-feed used to feed silkworms, para makapapakain nila yung silkworms. So yung waste na napuproduce ng silkworms is known as frass. So ginagamit din yun as a feed or fertilizer within the fish pond. So yung fish waste naman is nagpo-promote ng plankton growth, providing additional natural food para dun sa mga isda. So meanwhile, yung nutrient-rich mud is periodically removed, tinatanggal nila yung putik, and then ginagamit nila yun para fertilize yung mulberry trees. So yun yung cycles nila. So as the result ng nutrients, syempre continuous lang siya magsi-circulate within the system instead of being waste. So syempre sa ganitong approach, makakaproduce sila ng more food and generate sila ng little waste lang, hindi masyadong madaming waste. So nako-consider nito one of the earliest example and ng sustainable aquaculture and circular agriculture. So sa next is modern system or IMTA. So yung modern aquaculture is parang na-adapt na nila yung principle dito sa polyculture na through a system na yung Integrated Multi-Trophic Aquaculture or IMTA. So yung IMTA is nagko-combine siya ng species from different trophic levels or feeding levels within the same production system. So yun nga, yung the primary cultured species is gaya na lang ng shrimp or isda or mga known as fed species dahil dito nare-receive nila yung commercial feeds. So yung mga species na to ay nagpo-produce ng nutrient-rich waste. So, kabilang na dito yung nitrogen, phosphorus, and organic matter. Sa halip na inaalaw nila yung nutrients na to na ma-pollute sa environment, yung IMTA, inintroduce yung extractive species such as seaweeds, shellfish, or marine worms. So, yung mga organism nito na-absorb nila yung excess nutrients and kino-convert nila ito to valuable biomass. So, as a result, yung cleaner water is nagre-reduce na siya ng environmental impact and additional products sa mga farmers. So, para mabenta pa rin ng farmers yung products. So, yung IMTA is demonstrate niya kung paano nga ba ecological principle na ma-apply sa modern commercial aquaculture. So, next slide is shrimp effluent plus seaweed. So, ang common example nito is yung IMTA nga is the best combination of shrimp farming and seaweed cultivation. So, sa shrimp farms, napuproduce sila ng wastewater nagko-containing ng ammonia, nitrate, and phosphate. So, pag na-release nito and untreated, yung mga substances nito maaaring makakontribute sa tubig na magkukause ng water pollution and eutrophication. So, however, yung seaweed, syempre, just as Gracilaria and Capapicus can absorb these nutrients, pwede nilang gawin fertilizer. So, yung research is nagpapakita siya na yung seaweed na kaya daw i-remove between 60 and 80% ng dissolved inorganic nitrogen from shrimp wastewater. So, na-improve nito yung water quality habang sinusuportahan nito yung seaweed growth. So, yung mga harvested seaweed naman is kailangan na magsiserve as food na pa-process into agar and pwedeng gamitin ng biofuel production. So, syempre, maaari ito mag-create ng second income source habang nire-reduce natin yung environmental impacts. So, syempre, it is an excellent example na ma-turn natin yung waste into a valuable resource, diba? So, next slide is shrimp effluent plus sandworms. So, another innovative IMTA system is kino-combine nila shrimp farming with sandworms. Sandworms is particular species na nabibilong na siya sa mga genera Perenneresis and Nereis. So, nakukulture siya in sediment beds through which shrimp, yung wastewater is nagpo-flow lang siya. So, yung worms na to, nagko-consume siya ng uneaten feed or yung hindi nakakain na feed. And then, shrimp feces and organic sludge. So, na nagko-accumulate during shrimp production. So, sa pagpipid naman ng mga materials, syempre, na-help nila na ma-reduce yung pollution and improve water quality. So, at the same time, the worms produce a high-protein biomass na pwedeng ibenta as live feed or incorporated into aquaculture feed. So, yung filtered water na maiiwan dun sa system, nagko-contain siya ng lower levels of meron pa rin silang solid and inorganic pollutants. So, additionally, yung worm casting is pwede natin gamitin as organic fertilizer in agriculture. So, yung system na to is hindi lang siya not only solve waste management problem but also creates a third source of revenue for shrimp farmers. So, last slide is key takeaways. So, to summarize, polyculture system maximize na use of available resources. So, nagko-combine sila ng species with different ecological niches. So, per species should be kailangan piliin natin based on their feeding habits and position within the water column para maiwasan natin yung competition. Pangalawa is, yung waste is na-generate by one species, pwedeng gawing food or nutrients para sa another species na nag-create ng natural recycle system. And then third is, yung both traditional system like Chinese carp, polyculture, and modern system like IMTA, nade-demonstrate nito na ang biodiversity ay pwedeng maka-improve ng productivity and resilience. So, polyculture in short is nagpo-provide siya ng important environmental benefits. So, it reduces pollution, lowers production costs, improves resource efficiently, and creates multiple income streams for farmers. So, sa aquaculture, continuous lang siya nag-expand worldwide. Kasi yung polyculture is, andyan lang siya remain pa din siyang valuable strategy para ma-achieve natin yung both economic success and environmental sustainability. And that's all for today. Thank you.